What is up, everyone, and welcome to a very special edition of The Danny Show. I'm your host, Daniel Cody, giving you commentary and reviews on all things wrestling. And thank you guys so much for being on this channel. Tonight, Monday Night Raw comes to us live from the great state of Texas, specifically Dallas, Texas. And it would be fair, and as one of the customs on this channel, I would like to give you guys a top 10 review on my top 10 favorite matches that have happened in the city of Dallas. So let's get started. When you're talking about Texas, you can't talk about Texas without talking about this man right here, Stone Cold Steve Austin. And we're going to start this countdown with him as Stone Cold goes one-on-one with Kevin Owens, the delusional Kevin Owens, who, fun fact, was actually heel at that time. The whole thing started because Kevin Owens kept taunting the people of the state of Texas as WrestleMania was set to go to Dallas at WrestleMania 38 in 2022. Of course, that did not sit well with the man he would eventually call out, Stone Cold Steve Austin. But it was actually set to be a talk show known as the Kevin Owens Show. However, in Kevin Owens' mind, he baited Steve Austin into a fight that he was not prepared for, when in actuality, Stone Cold came for a fight. And he delivered a fight to Kevin Owens for being one dumb son of a biscuit for talking down about Stone Cold and the state of Texas. You don't mess with Texas and Stone Cold in the same manner. Stone Cold hadn't been in a match in 19 years, and good thing is he gets to retire with victory. Next on this list, we have at number 9 a match for the WWE Championship at 2010, Hell in a Cell between Randy Orton and Sheamus. Sheamus was looking to exercise his rematch clause to get a match with Randy Orton, but under the conditions of Hell in a Cell. And this match, to me, did not disappoint at all. Both men delivered their best moves. At one point, one of them had to roll out of the ring just to keep from being pinned. But in the end, it was Randy Orton's RKO, if I remember correctly, onto the stairs that won him the match and helped him retain the WWE Championship. Speaking of WWE Championship retention, that brings me to number 8, where we have WWE Champion Triple H versus John Cena at Night of Champions 2008 for the WWE Championship. And it was a lot riding on this match as Triple H was being drafted to SmackDown as John Cena stayed on Raw. And if John Cena won, he would have kept the championship on Raw. However, if Triple H won, he would take the championship to SmackDown. And this was a good match, in my personal opinion. Of course, the crowd was more so with Triple H. And of course, it was a redemption match for Triple H, because Triple H not only won the match, but it was a match that Triple H needed to win, not only to retain the WWE Championship, but to get past the fact that he had never beaten John Cena. And the last time they met one-on-one, Triple H tapped out at WrestleMania. So sweet redemption for the game, Triple H. Next, at number 7, we go to Hell in a Cell again at 2014. This was a match between two-thirds of Shield Brethrens, Dean Ambrose, now known as Jon Moxley, who has gone completely crazy as one of the Death Riders, and Seth freaking Rollins. Of course, at the time, Seth was heel, Mox was face, and it started off wild. J&J Security got theirs. They fought on top of the cell. Then they climbed halfway down and ended up falling halfway onto the announce tables. Both men were attempted to be stretchered out to an ambulance. That didn't happen. Moxley, aka Dean at the time, fought out and got Seth Rollins out, they went back into the cell and continued fighting until Bray Wyatt, God rest his soul, interfered, helping Seth Rollins win the match. Next at number 6, we have The Miz versus Dolph Ziggler, now known as Nick Nemeth, as TNA World Champion. By the way, I hope Joe Hendry wins. But in any event, we have these two facing off in a TLC ladder match in 2016. They had a rivalry all throughout the fall, one of which saw Dolph Ziggler's career on the line. Thankfully, Dolph Ziggler won that time and won the championship, the Intercontinental Championship. But this match was to settle the score and the rivalry, and this would be a great ladder match, and it would see The Miz win the Intercontinental Championship after going low on Dolph Ziggler a few times. Of course, that was not only the good match we saw later on that night. Later on, we saw AJ Styles and Dean Ambrose in a WWE Championship match. That was also the night AJ Styles ripped his pants. And it is something about AJ Styles in December with a 6 at the end of the night where he rips his pants. Fun fact, AJ Styles ripped his pants in 2016 in December. In 2006, at a December event in TNA, he ripped his pants. 6 is not a good number for AJ Styles. Just saying. Next on this list, we go earlier to Dallas, Texas, WrestleMania 32. That very same year earlier, we had a ladder match for the Intercontinental Championship. This featured The Miz. This featured Dolph Ziggler, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and Stardust, now WWE Champion Cody Rhodes. And the eventual winner of that match, which was Zack Ryder, now known as Matt Cardona. Back at that time, Kevin Owens was the Intercontinental Champion and had an encounter with his bitter rival, Sami Zayn. But in the end, it was Zack Ryder who would get his WrestleMania moment. Unfortunately, it only lasted 24 hours. At number 4, later on that night, we would witness a historic triple threat women's match for the Women's Championship. The Divas Championship would be retired that night, and it would be the Women's Championship. This featured Sasha Banks, who came out in Eddie Guerrero attire, led by cousin Snoop Dogg, who was Hall of Fame that year, Becky Lynch, and Charlotte Flair. 3/4 of WWE's wrestling version of the Horsewomen. Of course, this match did not disappoint at all. We saw Sasha's moves give homage to Eddie Guerrero, one of her all-time favorite. And it wouldn't be a good Charlotte Flair match if we didn't see Charlotte Flair do a moonsault. By the way, speaking of Charlotte Flair, fun fact, Charlotte is coming back real soon. But I will say this respectfully. I am very excited to see Charlotte come back. But can we please get Charlotte Flair, in an angle that involves dream match without a championship? My humble opinion. I'm a fan of Charlotte Flair when she's not a villain, but can we please get that? That would be very awesome. Give us a dream match without championship, just competition. That's all I'm requesting. But nonetheless, speaking of Charlotte, Charlotte did win this match and become the women's champion. Excuse me. Now let's go 24 hours back in time. 24 hours before competing in a ladder match that involved his bitter rival Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn at number 3 would face off against Shinsuke Nakamura in an epic dream match without championship material, to the point I was mentioning earlier. And all I can say about that match is the exact same thing that fans chanted. This is wrestling. That's all I want to say to describe it. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It is an amazing match. Shinsuke would win this match, and then leave the floor to Sami Zayn to embrace the respect and love from the fans before going on to the main roster in WWE. Great match. Also, Finn Balor and Samoa Joe have good matches too. Next at number three, these next two matches took place on Saturday at WrestleMania 38. Is it just me, or do all the great matches happen on a Saturday, except for WrestleMania 40? The WrestleMania 40 main event of Sunday was one of the best Sunday main events we've seen. So, to me, I'm just saying that was before a lot of the favorites happened on a Saturday. Just saying. But moving forward at number two, we have Bianca versus Becky Lynch for the Raw Women's Championship. Both women had spectacular entrances, including the Texas band for Bianca Belair. That was awesome. Becky Lynch arriving in an Escalade like Batista did, while looking like an 80s rock star. The match itself was awesome. It was very awesome, and it would end up being Bianca's redemption match because this was her redeeming herself from what happened at the previous year's SummerSlam and remaining undefeated at WrestleMania. And if she remains undefeated this year, we might calm down, guys, before you get angry, but we might have a women's version of The Undertaker. Maybe. I'm not saying she's like The Undertaker. I'm just saying before anyone gets angry. But good match. At number one, before I go to number one, speaking of The Undertaker, I would give an honorable mention of The Undertaker versus Shane McMahon inside Hell in a Cell. And you want to know what's so ironic? The Undertaker has had one-on-one matches with both McMahons in Dallas. In 2003, Undertaker faced Vince McMahon in a Buried Alive match, which I enjoyed every second of watching him get the crap beat out of him until the end. The only thing that would make my day special is if The Undertaker had actually buried Vince alive. And yet, 13 years later, in Dallas, Texas, Undertaker fought Shane in an honorable mention in this match. Now, let's move forward to number one. At number one, we have Seth Rollins versus the returning Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 38. This match was built as a mystery match for Seth Rollins so that Seth Rollins could be on the card of WrestleMania as he wanted. And Vince McMahon, though I can't stand him now, Vince McMahon, before we found out how nasty he was, did some good service. I'll give him credit. And he allowed Seth to go to WrestleMania as long as he could pick the stipulation and the opponent. And the opponent was none other than Cody Rhodes, who was received in a much better form than AEW fans treated him. And they ended up having one of the best matches of that night, besides Becky and Charlotte. And of course, in the end, it would be Cody Rhodes who would win the match, and they would go on to have two more matches that Cody Rhodes won, including the match in Chicago. So, that's my list. Let me know in the comments below what was your favorite match to take place in Dallas, Texas. I'm your host, Daniel Cody, and I'll see you, if fate and Lord willing, tonight for a review of Monday Night Raw on Netflix. Have a great day, everyone.